The same one. The same one we've been using.
Both sides of the story.
Kind. I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body, in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. The children of Jamaica singing the national pledge song, a recording we've been playing throughout this period, and we've explained why. We also started out with the national pledge because the moment is pregnant with opportunity for us as a people to seriously take a look at what we have done, what we are doing, and what we can do, or better yet, will do to make this country a better place. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 15th day of the 8th month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Put another way, it's the 15th day of the 13th month of the North Atlantic hurricane season. And here in Jamaica, the Met Office is reporting that there's a trough across Jamaica. Once you hear the word trough, think wet weather on the face of it. Think wet weather. So there's a trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to remain across the island over the next few days, and then you can expect a tropical wave to move across Jamaica on Tuesday, that's tomorrow. And with the tropical wave, usually associated, well, usually uh, connected to cloudiness or um, or thunderstorms or thunderstorms. So a couple of areas weather-wise to be mindful of. The forecast for the rest of this afternoon: isolated showers and thunderstorms across sections of central and western parishes. Otherwise, partly cloudy, and tonight will become fair. There are a couple of systems out there elsewhere in the region: a tropical wave across the south central Caribbean, another tropical wave across the eastern Caribbean, and a high pressure ridge across the Gulf of Mexico. In terms of our other observances, let's remind you on a day like today that it's in Christians around the world are observing the Assumption, the taking up of the Virgin Mary, body and soul, into heaven when her earthly life was ended. In Canada, it's known as Acadian Day. The Encamp and La Massana village festivals are on in Andorra. It's Assumption Foundation Day in Paraguay, Freedom Day in North Korea, Liberation Day and Republic Day in South Korea. Our Lady of Basila Day is being celebrated in Equatorial Guinea, where they're also marking Constitution Day. Panamanians are commemorating the foundation of Old Panama. It's Independence Day in Brazzaville in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It's also Independence Day in India. There's a special holiday in the Malata province of the Solomon Islands. Costa Ricans are celebrating Mother's Day. It's Military Regime Day in Niger, Hunuco in Peru, La Digue Festival in the Seychelles, a national day in Liechtenstein, National Mourning Day in Bangladesh. Egyptians are remembering the flooding of the Nile in Egypt. The Dongjiru Festival is on in Tibet. The annual pilgrimage continues in Montserrat, and Shintoists are still marking the Festival of Souls. Hoy es lunes el 15 de agosto 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. Ce lundi, le 15 août 2022, et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Monday, the 15th of August, 2022, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Margins Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Margins Pharmacy code 876-703-6335. The time by Margins Pharmacy is 2:15. Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and orthopedic.
Hi. Thank you. You have some goodies there for me.
Yeah.
Let me see how quick.
Free.
Okay.
I can get them boxes I can sign and send it to people.
Okay, no problem.
So I'll call them back up.
Before.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Presents Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with host Alicia Taylor and rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson airs every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
All we're saying is It is Monday, the 15th of August, 2022, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us here on the Jamaican, on both sides of the story on Poro 106 FM. Thanks to those of you tuned in on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9 from Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you can download from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank those of you who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. If you're in the United States and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number in the United Kingdom is 0330 606 0953. That's 0330 606 0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? Taking your calls on 876 922 411225, 876 922 411225. The text line, same as the WhatsApp message, which means the WhatsApp number, which means you can send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, and you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876 365 3346, 876 365 3346. And let's continue right now with your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. How are things with you and yours? How's it going? How are the preparations for back to school? Have you had the opportunity to take the children to the dentists yet? Notice I said dentists. Right across the country, there are health fairs and opportunities to ensure that the children's eyes are tested, that their teeth are cleaned, and that a thorough medical is done, just to ensure that they are in tip-top shape heading back to school if they are returning students or heading out to school for the first time. Let's see what's been trending so far in terms of the news. Britain says monkeypox outbreak shows signs of slowing. Well, we'll hold the applause until such time. British health officials say the monkeypox outbreak across the country shows signs of slowing, but that it's still too soon to know if the decline will be maintained. And there's a picture of representatives in Whithorn, Westmoreland, in fact, residents of Whithorn, Westmoreland, pointing to a sign with the words Universal Service Fund, because apparently Whithorn in Westmoreland now has access to free secured Wi-Fi. There's a hotspot in Whithorn, the district of Whithorn, which was installed by the Universal Service Fund under its community Wi-Fi program. Whatever happened to that system? Weren't we promised a system that would blanket the entire country and that would be so robust that our internet, that we would see and we would experience better internet connectivity. Whatever happened there? I just remembered that. Whatever happened there? And oh dear, what is this now? Jamaican man drowns brother missing in Martha's Vineyard. A Clarendon family is in mourning over the drowning of one of two brothers in Martha's Vineyard. And Martha's Vineyard, we should tell you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad, it's uh, it's an island located south of Cape Cod in Massachusetts, in the United States, in North America, and it's known for being a popular, affluent summer colony. In fact, I'm thinking of a Jamaican right now who has lived in Martha's Vineyard for years, and I believe she's still living in that area along with other members of her family. So that's where this incident happened. A Clarendon family, as we said, is in mourning after the drowning of one of two brothers in Martha's Vineyard. In fact, I believe the President of the United States has a retreat in in Martha's Vineyard, and that's, as we said, in Massachusetts in the United States. The deceased has been identified as Tavares Bulgin. A search is on for his brother Tavon, who is still missing in the waters. Oak Bluffs Police Chief Jonathan Searle told the MV Times that the missing swimmer is presumed dead. Searle was quoted as saying that since a death occurred, the investigation will be taken over by the district attorney's office. The brothers are from Palmer's Cross in Clarendon. Their parents had to be taken to the Maypen Hospital following the devastating news. The father is Reverend Keith Bulgin, who is the pastor of the Palmer's Cross New Testament Church of God. The brothers, who are in their 20s, were on summer jobs in Martha's Vineyard. The police report that the Jamaicans were among people who on Sunday night jumped into the ocean from the Jaws Bridge in Martha's Vineyard. It was reported that the body of one of the brothers was found around 6:30 a.m. on Senge Contacket Pond. Jaws Bridge is said to be a popular tourist attraction on the island, and many people jump from it during the summer, despite a sign warning people against it. And there's more information to come on that story. We'll share it with you if and when we get it this afternoon. Coming up at 2:30, Land Solutions. Stand by with all your questions and queries having to do with the sale or purchase of land. Land Solutions is coming up. Stand by for that. Land Solutions, I believe, celebrates 11 years, and the 11th anniversary of Land Solutions was in fact on, was it Tuesday last week or was it Monday? Yes, it was the 8th of August, Monday the 8th of August, the 11th anniversary of Land Solutions. So stand by for Land Solutions coming up in just a moment. In the meantime, just a quick scan of another couple of stories. Sunshine Girls moved to number 3. That's in the overall rankings. Iran denies involvement but justifies Salman Rushdie attack. Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto declared election winner. That's been a controversial one. Hanover man injured in police shootout charged. So those are just some of the stories that are trending right now as far as the Gleaner is concerned via their online platform, jamaica-gleaner.com. Good afternoon to those of you who have joined us. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's go down the line. Hello, Leotine Brian. Good afternoon to you. And we convey your greetings to those home and abroad as well. Happy Monday to you too, Leotine Brian. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Good afternoon. Alvin says, good afternoon, Brother Dervan. Hope all is well. I can see you're back home. Hope you had a great time in Florida. Yes, we did, Alvin. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to Sean. And Ricardo says, happy 11th anniversary Land Solutions. And let's see who else is online. Barrington ABG says, greetings from Goddy's son. Greetings to you too, Goddy's son. Violet White says, good afternoon, Dervan, and the listening audience. To you too, Violet White. Good to have you on board. Thank you very much for tuning in. So we perhaps have time for a brief call, if there is one at this moment. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Perhaps we could uh, give you a bit of history to take us to the break. St. George's Colonial College opened its doors on this day in 1850. The Catholic institution was established by 21 Jesuits from the Roman Catholic missionary organization known as the Society of Jesus. The Jesuits came to Jamaica after their expulsion from Colombia and established what is now known as St. George's College on this day in 1850. This was 310 years after the Society of Jesus received its charter from Pope Paul III in August 1540. The Jesuit order, an important role in the Counter-Reformation, and eventually succeeded in converting millions around the world to Catholicism. The Jesuit movement was founded by Ignatius de Loyola, a Spanish soldier turned priest in August 1534. And that year is significant. What happened in 1534? I'll come back to that. But back to the Jesuits who founded St. George's College on this day in 1850. With their considerable experience as tertiary educators in Bogota and Medellin, they were able to offer a curriculum which included Latin, Greek, French, Spanish, English, rhetoric, history, mathematics, logic, metaphysics, ethics, drawing, and calligraphy. More after Land Solutions.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106. You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 2:13.
Supreme Real Estate, licensed real estate dealers, the experts in residential, commercial, industrial, hotels, and villa sales, rentals, and leases. Supreme Real Estate, Main Street, Salem, Runaway Bays, and Ann. Call 876-973-5026 or 876-973-6142 and email supremerealestate@cwjamaica.com.
Jamaica Hospital Supplies has medical equipment for health at home.
We have oxygen supplies,
Wheelchairs,
digital blood pressure machines,
adult diapers,
Sure Comfort diabetic supplies,
Pearson's blood sugar meters,
humidifiers, incentive spirometers,
urinals, bed bags, leg bags.
CPAP supplies, body fat scales, and catheters. Jamaica Hospital Supplies for all your home care needs. 66 and a half Halfway Tree Road. Call 929-2850. Visit our website for more information. Parents, get the Children's Zone every week in print or online. Every child learns differently, so choose the printed Children's Zone where they can write, draw, or color on the page, or the online Children's Zone where they can use anywhere on their phone, tablet, or laptop. Sign up today at www.jamaicagleaner.com/premium/Children's Zone or contact us at 876-932-6188 or 876-932-6288 for your printed Children's Zone and further information. Choose the Children's Zone because your child deserves the best. The following segment of Land Solutions is brought to you by Supreme Real Estate, Main Street, Salem, Runaway Bays, and Ann.
It's Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions, the 11th anniversary of Land Solutions. That was last Monday. Last Monday marked the 11th anniversary of Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with, anything anything at all to deal with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113 to 5. 876-922-4113 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, 876 387 3183. 876 387 3183. And the numbers to get in touch with the law firm Brown, Findley and Company: 876-908-1950 or 876-908 3518. That's 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. You can visit their website, landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. You can also visit them on Facebook, facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center. That's at 14 Hope Road in Halfway Tree. And you could also look at it as at the corner of Winchester Road and Halfway Tree Road. And there's an office as well in Ocho Rios, upstairs, the Jamaica National Building. And there is a number you can call directly in order to speak with a representative at the Ocho Rios offices of Brown, Findley and Company. That number is 876-974-6083, 876-974-6083. And there is always a lawyer on duty every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Ocho Rios offices of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company. A lawyer is on duty every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, here's today's lawyer on duty from now until 3:30. Attorney at law, Gloria Brown. Belatedly, happy 11th anniversary as far as Land Solutions is concerned. How are you?
Thank you, Dervan. Thank you so much. That time really flies, Dervan. It seems as if we just started this program the other day, which is really, August 8th really marks 11 years since Land Solution.
Indeed.
And I'm sure a lot of persons have learned a lot because I get the response everywhere I go. Persons have said that this program has changed the landscape of knowledge in relation to land ownership, land purchasing, land selling, everything in relation to land. So we have served our purpose well. 11 years of service to the people of Jamaica. And I really want to thank you, Dervan, and to thank Power and all the persons who have continued to support this program. Special thanks also to our sponsors. Really appreciate it. So, Dervan, I hope that over the 11 years my listeners have really been taking it and have not been just forgetful hearers of the word, but have really been taking the advice they have been giving them. And what Kanita and I preach every week, some of the main things we preach, we have been preaching for the last 11 years. Make a will. Make a will. It is finding some traction. It is making some impact on persons, but not sufficiently so. I found more and more persons coming into my office to write wills or asking questions about wills, but still not enough. I am encouraging us as a people to let us develop a culture of making wills. So as soon as you reach age 18, you should just have a will. You might say I don't have anything, but you might be surprised to know what you have. You might
There are persons who have died on the job. For example, police officers. Any person we see industrial accidents every day. And even if you don't have a dollar, you don't have a home, you don't have land, and you should die on your job, then that is money that belongs to your estate. And that is something that you should have in a will. I leave all I have to my mother or to my spouse or to my girlfriend or to my boyfriend or my sister or my daughter. Just write down something and then improve it as you go along. The number to call this afternoon are 922-411-325. 922-411-325. And remember, we said that the will forms are sold at I'm told at the bookstores. Well, I know at the bookstore, but I'm told you can get them at some pharmacies as well. So everybody should even start out with that, with even a will on a will form, because it's very user friendly. It tells you where to write the names of the executors, where to write your name, where to write what you have. It starts with I give and bequeath. You just put it. All I have to my parents. Just something like that. And that's a will. The important thing is to get signed in the presence of two or more witnesses. So you're going to prepare that and have two persons at the office or two persons at church or at school to just sign it up for you. Just remember that the person who are witnessing it, they shouldn't get anything out of it or their spouse. But I'm begging persons, don't let us preach in vain for 11 years. Let us do something about it. That's one area we have been preaching on for years, the area of making the wills, writing it down. A gentleman called me the other day and he thought he probably listening and I was so pleased. He said he wanted to come and see me in the old in the Ocean's office because he recognized that a short pencil is better than a long memory. And I was so pleased he had caught the phrase and appreciate exactly what I'm talking about to say right now. And I was saying that we have been preaching as well is that buying land is not like a slice of cake or a piece of fabric that you go to the fabric store and say, sell me a yard of that material. So I've been saying to our clients, buying land is not like that. And a lot of the problems that we have been asked to solve over the years relate to persons who have bought land just like that and have not been able to get their title over the years for a number of reasons. One reason is that of subdivision. If you buy land and you're just buying a piece of what somebody has, you have to apply to the local authority for permission to put the land. And sometimes the local authority will say, hey, the land is too small that you are trying to put because you might just have bought a house fund and the parish code is not going to allow you to put over a house fund. But the good news is that if you have already bought your house fund and you can prove that you have had it for more than 7 years, and the title does not say the land is not to be subdivided, the good news is that we can help you to get a title. So even if the piece of land is as big as an exercise leaf or a folder leaf, and the surveyor will survey it for you. As long as the title does not say no subdivision, you have had the land for more than 7 years, we'll be able to help you to get a title for it. But those who are buying presently, you don't want to have to wait 7 years. So don't just go and buy land like that. I always say to the clients, the best thing for me to do is to talk to somebody at the parish council before you buy and feel about to see the parish council will give permission for you to get a title for something that is as small as what you're buying. But a lot of times the parish council want something like at least 2 squares or a quarter acre, which is 2.5 squares. So that's another thing we're saying to us. Just don't go and buy land willy-nilly. Just don't go and say, sell me a piece of this, sell me a piece of that. Be very, very careful and cautious when you're buying. And get legal advice. Do not use it as a lawyer for the person who are selling or for the person if you are buying or for the person who is buying if you're selling. Get your own legal advice. Also, before you buy and before you sell, value the property. Don't just accept the valuation of somebody. If somebody's going to buy your land, you can't accept their valuation because they're going to ask the valuer. They might ask the valuer to come in low. I have a situation where persons have applied to buy property and persons have called me for abroad to say they are selling their property. One particular matter many years ago, a client was selling property and he told me that he wanted me to represent him in selling the property. And I insisted that he did a valuation. The tenant was buying the property for 16 million. When I did the valuation, the property was valued at 35 million. But a lot of persons are abroad and they hear 16 million, it sounds a lot to them, but they don't realize how land in Jamaica has appreciated its value. So that's another thing we have been saying to do over the years. Be careful in selling and be careful in buying. Also, when you're buying, make sure you go and really have a good look at the place, look at the house, get somebody to check it for termite because I've known situation persons have bought properties and the entire roof was beautifully painted and looked really, really nice, but just set up room and touch it and it was falling apart because it was fixed up nicely, but it was termite infested. So a lot of things. Sometimes you need to get a quantity surveyor. Sometimes you need to get a structural engineer to look at the structure of the property. A lot of times some places flood and you're not realizing that they flood because you're buying it when it is dry time. There's a lot of things we need to consider before we go on and buy and make the most expensive investments many of us will ever make in our lifetime. And therefore, be cautious. And also, we need to sort out. I'm saying to the older person, many older persons listen to this program. I'm encouraging you to sort out your properties and bring the younger generation in the know. A lot of the conflicts, a lot of the problems, a lot of the bad blood that we're having is because of land problems, because persons are not satisfied with what they have got or what they think they should get. Also, do not just need persons in your property. You have had somebody looking about your parents, the parents have passed, this person is going to stay, let them sign and if I said they were good to daddy, I don't want them to pay, let them pay $1 a year. Do not need persons in your property because of goodwill, because that person might have the goodwill, but that person might pass on and then their children or their spouse might decide that they're not going to give up the property. So that's another thing. So we're talking about the wills, we're talking about the buying and the selling of the property. Look out for those. As soon as somebody dies, another thing we're talking to you about is expeditious. Don't just leave things, but don't call me about the great grandfather who died in the 60s. That should have been looked about a long time. As soon as the parents die, within a year or so, we're encouraging you within a year or so, start sorting out the matters. Don't leave matters to happen. Because a lot of persons know the rules, they know the law, they know what is happening, and you might find that you have lost your property. Do not leave matters for too long. And I continue with that, with land solution.
The preceding segment of Land Solutions was brought to you by Supreme Real Estate, Main Street, Salem, Runaway Bay, St. Anne.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Parents, get the Children's Zone every week in print or online. Every child learns differently, so choose the printed Children's Zone where they can write, draw, or color on the page, or the online Children's Zone where they can use anywhere on their phone, tablet, or laptop. Sign up today at www.jamaicagleaner.com/premium/Children's Zone or contact us at 876-932-6188 or 876-932-6288 for your printed Children's Zone and further information. Choose the Children's Zone because your child deserves the best.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4111. Oops, let's do that again. 876-922-4113-5. That's 876-922-4113-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. The Land Solutions website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office upstairs, Shop 6, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of turning up. The numbers to call The offices of Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. That's 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518 if you wish to call the Ocho Rios office directly. That number is 876-974-6083, 876-974-6083. Once again, here's Attorney at Law Gloria Brown, and we have a caller for you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I am a hearing of property without understanding. The parent is not living here because they have adopted the list and they want to give it to their child. Other than making a will to put it in a will, couldn't they give it to the child in their lifetime while they are alive?
Yes, sir. And I always say on this program that I believe a warm gift is better than a cold gift. So warm gift means to give it when your hands are warm more than when they are cold. Give it when you're alive. I always prefer that. But of course, you have to be careful because sometimes children become problematic. So as long as you're sure, though, that that's what you want to do, I encourage my clients to give it. I encourage my clients, as long as they are sure, do it when you're alive.
What would be the procedure to give it over?
It will be a transfer of land. So you can always call me afterwards and I'll advise you what needs to be done. You're going to need name, address, occupation, PRN of everybody. A copy of the title, the tax paper, and the value of the property. Title, tax, value, name, address, occupation, PRN.
Yes, all right. We need to be that they do transfer tax too.
Yes, you're going to have to pay transfer tax, but it depends on what parish it is, so you can get a waiver. What parish is it?
Yes.
Yes, you can get a waiver. So even though it might have a big hotel on it, you can get a waiver of most of the duties.
All right.
All right, sir. And just be a flat fee. You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye. So that's another one of the lessons that we have been saying over the years as well, that we encourage persons to make what we call inter-pivot transfers while you are alive. As best, okay, if you're sure that this is my only child, I want this child to get it. But remember, I've already spoken about this matter, where somebody transfers a lady transferred her property to her daughter, and the daughter gave her the property. So again, you have to be sure. So usually in a situation like this, the gentleman I just spoke to, I usually encourage the parents to, if it's your only property, and take a life interest. So the property will be title would read to John Brown for life, and after death to Peter Brown and Mary Brown. So as long as she's a life tenant, she's free to live there and control the property. And usually I make Peter and Mary sign a disclaimer to say if their mother or their father, whoever giving them the property, should decide to mortgage or to sell it, they have no interest in the proceeds. So a life interest is what I encourage in such a situation. But so to say to John Brown for life, and after that to Peter and Paul, or to Peter and Mary. So therefore, when John passes on, Peter and Mary don't have to go and probate any will. They just know John's death and they will get the property automatically. So those are some of the things to consider as well. And that's one of the lessons we have been teaching over the years, the life interest. I don't think we have spoken up over the years. But before I do that, let me at least try to read one of the text messages. Can someone's name be on the tax roll in the tax office and that person is not the true owner? Yes. I've seen it many times. Sometimes I've seen where, for example, Mr. Brown has sold property to 10 persons, but one has gone and got his or her name on the tax roll, as if that person is his full owner. But it's not even that significant. As I said, that the taxes and the name on the tax roll, etc., sometimes not as significant. Because when you're trying to get your titles, just to make sure the taxes are paid and to be able to show the connection. A lot of the emphasis that we are putting on taxes as Jamaicans, what we should put the emphasis on is really on title. Because as long as you get the title, the tax will automatically be paid in your name for the amount you have on the title. So don't push to pay tax, push to get a title. Because anybody can pay the taxes, the name can come out of the tax roll so easily. What you need is to get your title and protect your interest in your property. So the title, even though you have the title, is not 100% protection if you're not protecting your land. So get your title and protect your land, protect your ownership. Make sure that you know who is living there. Anybody who is there is paying some kind of rent or there's some written agreement to say they are there with your permission. And make sure that you put everything in place to pass on the legacy to those who will come behind. The number to call 922-4113 to 5 876-922-4113 to 5. And what else have we been saying to you in these 11 years? We have been encouraging you as well to survey your property. Even if you might say I can't afford the title right now, have a survey. Because we can't do the title for you without a survey. And sometimes you have no documentation to show ownership except this old survey diagram. And it's wonderful when you come in with an old survey diagram and you don't have anything else because that's full evidence of ownership. And remember, when the surveyor is surveying, the surveyor will then put surveys on the neighbors, and it's good when the neighbors attend the survey to make sure that it's not their land you're taking away. So that is something that we have been saying to you as well over the years. Get a surveyor, get a commissioned land surveyor to survey your little piece of the land. And protect your interest. Know where your pegs are, because a lot of pegs are moving pegs. It is beside the coconut tree today, and by the time you sit to the land next to it is beside the mango tree because the neighbor is moving it. So protect your land, know exactly where your peg should be, and let the next generation know that the peg is there, the peg is right there, so that later on. But a lot of times it's after the person's past that person starts in trouble with the land. And also, just to tell children that your parents have sold property to somebody. You can't come on later on and say, Daddy sold it too cheap, so we want that. It doesn't work like that. There's something in law that says consideration must be real, but it doesn't have to be adequate. So Daddy can sell the $1 million land for $10,000 if he wants. As long as he sells it for something, there's nothing to say he has to sell it for the real value. So you can't go back later on and say Daddy never had the right to sell. Daddy having sold it for 1/10 or 1/100 of what it is valued. Which is why I'm saying to all the daddies now, before you sell, value the property. Value the property. And make sure that you have proper legal advice when you are selling, so your interest is protected. Another thing as well is that remember that if your parents should pass on and any of your siblings, your brothers or sisters should pass on, they do not lose their interest in the parents' land. Their children must get their share. It's not the situation that whoever lives the longest is the owner. It's all the brothers and sisters, children must share in their share of the property. And also as well, remember that there is no time limit within which you can say, you can't say, oh, Daddy died 100 years ago, so we can't probate it. Again, you can't say we probate it. But the longer you wait, the more problems you have, because you might find that persons have passed on. The witnesses have passed on, the executors have passed on. And when the executors pass on, you need to get their death certificate. And sometimes they are strangers to you. How are you going to get the death certificate? The witnesses might be strangers to you. A lot of times I see where the witnesses maybe be persons who work in law offices that are no longer operating, and you have problems. So I'm encouraging us as well to probate as soon as possible when the persons on the will are still alive. And if anybody, if you're alive and anybody in your will should pass on, you need to remove the will. And also just remember, if you need a title for your property, survey the property, and all you have to do is just send me a WhatsApp message. WhatsApp number is 387-3183. That's my WhatsApp number, and that's also the number you can use to send me a message. 387-3183. Send me a WhatsApp message or a direct message, and I will give you a call back, or I will read your text. But remember, we have offices in Ocho Rios and in Halfway Tree. You can find me in Ocho Rios. I'll be there this Thursday, the JN building, between 10 and 1 o'clock. You can call me in the JN building. You can just call my office to make an appointment to see JN building. I'll be there. I'm currently living with my partner. He's been his siblings out for the past 6 years. They also live for them in their father's hill. Their father has been dead for about 8 years. His will hasn't been completed. We want to build upstairs. We want to build upstairs. What protection would I have if he should die? His siblings do not live with us. That would be one of the worst decisions you have ever made in your entire life. You will not build anything upstairs on anybody's house. Because whatever you put upstairs will belong to the brothers and sisters and everybody else. Listen to me. Do not build on that house. Okay, I won't even go on aside to any further. If the siblings don't live there, if you and your partner can buy them out, but do not go and build upstairs on your mother's house. Unless you find that that property can be started and you can get a title just for the upstairs. But it's bad to build on the upstairs. And remember, we need to think long term. Don't think to say what is going to happen now I'm going to build. Think about what will happen later in the future. I've seen only disaster when persons go and build on top of somebody else's house. And remember, as I was saying earlier, we have an office in Portugal, and we also have an office in Halfway-Tree, and I'll be in Portugal this Thursday between 10 and 1. And I'm encouraging you to call our offices and call 908-1950 or 908-3518 to make an appointment. And remember, you can send me a text message or a WhatsApp message at 387-3183, or you can send an email to gloria@landsolutions.com. gloria@landsolutions.com. Send me an email so that if you do it for it, some person don't want to have their matters read on here. But you can also call us in office 908-1950 or 908-3518. This is Land Solutions.
On to the law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years. That's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. Wednesdays on Power 106 FM.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is 3 o'clock. There's a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with only approximately 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people do not participate in a formal pension plan, such as contract workers and the self-employed, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement Wealth Creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story. Power 106 FM, Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. The numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5, 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions. That number is 876-387-3183, 876-387-3183. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center. That's at 14 Halfway Tree, 14 Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. That's the corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road. They also have an office in Ocho Rios, St. Anne, more precisely, Shop 6, upstairs, the Jamaica National Building. And you're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950, 876-908-3518. There is another number you could call if you want to get through to the Ocho Rios offices of the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. That number is 876-974-6083, 876-974-6083. The website is landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. Once again, here's attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
And remember, this is the number to call, 922-411-325. 922-411-325. And this month we continue to celebrate 11 years of Land Solution. And I've been recapping some of the things that we have been advising our clients about over the years. And another one that we have, before I go into that, I want to thank our sponsor, Supreme Real Estate, and to encourage our listeners that you want to have your properties valued, or some of our persons that ask for you want to sell a property, then Supreme is really an ideal company to use to represent you in finding a buyer for you and ensuring that your property is sold at the best value that you can get. They can assist you with the valuation, they can assist you with finding a buyer for you. Supreme Real Estate, and they're out there in St. Anne, but their activities are not limited to St. Anne. They'll be able to assist you anywhere in the island or direct you as to where you should go. And we have been working with them for a number of years. So I encourage you to use our sponsors who have been kind enough to sponsor Land Solutions to assist in keeping the program on the air. I want to say thanks again to Supreme Real Estate out there in St. Anne. And I think that we have been saying to our listeners over the years, in these 11 years, we have been telling you and reminding you and advising you and informing you of what happens when you don't make a will and how your property is to be shared. And under the law, when you don't make a will and you have a spouse, and your spouse is your husband or your wife or a single man living with a single woman for 5 years or more before death. So if you are not married and the gentleman or the lady you're living with is not married and you have been living together for 5 years, that person is your spouse. And the law says that if you die without a will, your spouse is to all of your personal estate, which means the spouse is to get the car, the furniture, the jewelry, the clothes, the computer. But the spouse will not automatically get the house, the land, and the money and the business. What the law says should happen to the house, the land, the money, and the business is that if you have one child and a spouse, the spouse is 2/3 of all that you have, and the child is to get 1/3. And remember, this is if you don't make a will. You can make a will and will to anybody you want. You can make a will and don't need anything for your spouse and anything for your children. And we'll look at that. But if you have one child and a spouse, the spouse is to get 2/3 of your assets and the child is to get 1/3. If you have 2 or more children, for example, suppose you have 10 children, then the children must get a half of what you have and the spouse must get the other half. So if you have 2 children or 20 children, it's still a half for them and a half for the spouse. If you don't have any spouse, your children must get everything and nobody else is to get everything. So if you don't have a spouse, the children must get everything. You can only people who share the children with. full blood, that your mother and father, full brothers and sisters, must get what you have. If you have none of those, then it's the half uncles and aunts. Your mother and father, half brothers and sisters, must get what you have. If you have none of those relations, you don't have spouse, children, parents, brothers, sisters, grandparents, uncles and aunts, then the property will go to the government. And remember that all of what I'm talking about is what will happen to your land, house, money, business if you don't make a will. You are free to make your will and will to anybody you want. You are free to make your will and will to anybody you want. But if you don't make the will, the law has said what is to happen. And a lot of times when we say these things, persons complain and say that it's unfair, but it's not unfair. Because you can make your will and will to whoever you want. So don't complain about the one that is made for you. While the blood is running warm in your vein, you have not taken the opportunity to make one. So I'm encouraging persons. Remember, I'm saying to you, don't say I'm not making a will because you don't have anything. You're in a job and something should happen to you. Your contribution refunds from NHD, you need to collect. If sometimes you have a car, there's back money because something, God forbid you die in the job and you didn't get the month's pay or the vacation leave pay. All of those things will fall to your estate. Make a will. And remember, if you have young children and you don't make a will, a lawyer cannot help you to deal with the estate. The administrator general is in charge of that estate. And that department has a lot of work to do. So sometimes the beneficiaries don't see the money from the estate until quite a few years. So the children might want to go to university and you have a problem getting money released because the administrator general sometimes it takes a little while because there are so many estates that they have to manage because of what people do. And we have a problem getting money released because the administrator general sometimes it takes a little while because there are so many estates that they have to manage. And that's when you make a will, the court could change your will, could change your will after you die. So for example, as you like a situation where a person made a will and they had a child after the will was made but never amended. That child could petition the court to say that child could petition the court. Those things the court will take into consideration before deciding that they're going to interrupt or interfere with the will of a person who has passed. There's also the law of the Property Rights of Spouses Act that we need to be aware of. Under that law, if one person should own property in that person's name alone, and that person has a spouse living in the property, half of the property belongs to the spouse. The court can vary that, but that's the presumption. That's where we start from. To say that if I have a house and my husband moves into that house and lives with me and he's my spouse, or I live in that house with somebody and we have been that person my spouse because we have been living together, two single persons for 5 years or more, then half of that property will belong to that person. And so many times you hear persons complain, but I bought the property before I met her, etc. But that is the rule. So if you don't want that to happen, do a prenuptial agreement before you get married or before you live together. Before you get married or before you live together, do an agreement to say what is to happen to any property that is brought into the relationship or any property acquired during the relationship. You can make such arrangement. You can also do a post-nuptial agreement. So it's not too late, even though you are living there already, you can enter into an agreement even now. But we know how it is. When we are in love, but you don't want to go and ask the gentleman to sign this because he's going to say you don't trust him, etc. But we know how it is. Okay, but I'm encouraging persons to do these get the prenuptial agreement in place. If you know that that's not what you want to happen. Or if you're in doubt, then don't live in the property because the person can only claim it as a family home if you are living there together. So that's another thing to consider. Don't live in the property. Sometimes you might have to rent out your property and go and rent somewhere else. So there are things that you have to consider. Or if the property was bought not by you alone, by you and somebody else, suppose you and your sister had come together and bought the property, it's not in your name alone, then the other party can't claim family home because it's not in the name of one registered proprietor alone. So these are some things that we need to be aware of. There are some other legislations we need to be aware of. Dividing Fences Act, that's a law that speaks about putting up a fence. So my neighbor and we have a property, we have adjoining properties. I want to put up a fence. I serve a notice on the neighbor. I'm putting up a fence. This is the type of fence, that's the cost. The neighbor has an obligation to cover half the cost of the fence. Of course, you don't want the neighbor to do. Sometimes some of us are the fences that to put up are just too expensive. So we put up a fancy $10 million fence when the poor neighbor's house is hardly worth half the value of the fence. So you have to put up a reasonable fence, and you have to let the neighbor know about the fence before and ask the neighbor to contribute, and then you could always take the matter to court if the neighbor does not, for the neighbor to comply. Many things that we need to know about the law, and I think that's something that we need to look at in the future to see how we can, somebody send me a note to say that these things should be taught in school, and I can understand why a person says that. Things should be taught because so many persons cannot believe that they do not know these things that impact our lives on a daily basis. So I'm encouraging us to let us learn more about these things. Let us continue to tell others about them as well. This is Land Solutions.
Gen Zers, we're back. Gen Z returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking finance, dating, dancehall. You think it? We discuss it. You don't want to miss it. So join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Power 106 FM and 6:30 p.m. on TVJ. Gen Z, a show for the youths, by the youths.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. The University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC, is the only University of London recognised teaching centre in Jamaica, offering teaching and tutorial support for the Certificate of Higher Education in Common Law and the Bachelor of Laws programmes. The benefits of tutorial support include expert tutors, peer engagement, structured learning and higher completion rates. Register today by visiting our website at www.ucc.edu.jm. or call us at 876-906-3000.
Pesticides are dangerous. Always buy and store pesticides in their original labeled container. This will ensure that children or others don't mistake it for something to eat or drink. Keep all pesticides under lock and key. Never store pesticides where flooding is possible or places where they may spill or leak into waterways. Never store pesticides with your food, animal feed, or other supplies. A message from the Pesticides Control Authority, an agency of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with, celebrating 11 years of service to Jamaica and the world. The numbers to call, 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send your text messages, but your WhatsApp messages as well. That number is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. If you wish to get in touch with the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, they're headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of turning up unannounced at the offices of Brown, Findlay and Company. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. You can call the Ocho Rios office as well, 974-6083. That's 876-974-6083. Once again, here's attorney at law Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. The number that Dervan just told you to call, 922-411-325. And I noticed that it's interesting that I noticed a text message coming in from a client who is saying that that there's a matter where some children have their father in court because they are claiming adverse possession against the father. They are claiming that they have occupied the father's property for such a period of time that they are now the owner. They have taken that to court. So these are some of the things that we have to really, really plan for. It's sad, but it's a reality. We have to plan for such things and make sure sometimes, you see, even the very children you have there, you need to sign documentation to say they are there with their permission. Because sometimes the children might not be the problem, but the children might leave and they might leave a spouse there, and the spouse might say, hey, it was my husband's property because he was there, so we are claiming through the husband. We are the children and we are the next in line. So a number of things which is really saying to us that we need to be more formal in how we deal with land. We are very, very informal because things are going well, so no problem. I don't have to make a sign anything because things good, man. The children will live good. And I have that all the time. Parents will say, I'm going to add one child to the title because the children live good. But I have seen where when it comes to deadlift, it brings out the very worst in us. And sometimes it's not your child, but sometimes it's the company the children keep, sometimes who they have been associated with that will cause the bad blood. So don't take it for granted. Don't say I'm putting one child on the title because that child will take care of the others. God forbid, and you pass on and that child passes on a little after without taking care of the others. That property is going to go to that child's spouse and children only. And then we have a problem. Because the others might say, hey, where's our share? And I've seen so many instances where parents have put just one child on a title. Want to change that, and the child is saying, oh no, I'm not signing for you to do anything because it's mine when you pass. So a lot of things to consider. But I'm just encouraging us in this 11th year of Land Solutions. I'm encouraging us. Let us revisit how we are dealing with land, how we're buying land, how we are selling land. Or we are leaving the land behind. Because too many of us as parents, we are saying that we had to struggle, so our children must struggle. Our parents never sort out the land, so make our children sort it out. And that is why a lot of times our children are, when they should have one step forward, they are steps behind. Because they have not been given the push start that they need. Because by the time they are busy sorting out this, they are not able to use the title to borrow the money to send the child to university, to become a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a nurse, a mechanic, an engineer, or to buy a truck, or to buy a car, or a taxi. They don't have any collateral, and we know that as the people we are, we have to have something to take to the bank. Our face and our names are not collateral. We can't get anything based on those. Our family lineage, we have to have that piece of paper called a title. And in saying that as well, I want to speak to my listeners and say to, especially to the children who want to borrow titles, to go and borrow money, to be careful. Careful, parents, how you lend your children your titles to borrow money, especially to buy cars. Because as soon as you drive the car off the lot, the value is already, it has already declined, diminished, reduced. And make sure that when you're going to, I'm encouraging persons to borrow because I'm not one of those encouraging persons put the title under the mattress and got it. But make sure you have a good business plan. We have seen many persons who have struggled and who have lost their shirts really literally because of the COVID pandemic that was not planned for. Many persons with good ideas, good business ideas, have lost their investments, have lost their houses, struggling because of what COVID has done, to make sure that we can never be 100% sure, but let us try as best as possible to have some good backing before we use the titles. But we need to use them as well. We use them for the NHD benefit, so we can be able to put up the house on the property and have proper housing, because we know that when children are raised in proper housing, sometimes the culture is different, the attitude is different. And sometimes some of us need to move from where we are so we can bring up the children in a better environment so they can be better socialized. So a lot of things we need to consider. And many of us who have left the family property in country, we need to revisit those family properties, because some of us are growing some children in some places where they have no good examples, they have no good role models. And a lot of times we quarrel, we curse people and say, oh, you come from country as if it's a bad thing, when it's such a good thing. When you can grow up and you can live in an environment where you can breathe the fresh air and you don't hear people shouting every day and quarreling every day. So a lot of us who have neglected the country lands, we need to revisit that, look back at it. And remember, a lot of those lands that we have neglected, our forefathers worked so hard in the days when land was not normal thing for poor people to have. Many of them work so hard. So I'm encouraging, especially those out in the diaspora, before you neglect the land and leave it, even title it and sell it so you can buy something where you are living. But don't walk away and leave the heritage. Another thing that we have talked about over the years is the graves on land. Most of the lending institutions are not going to allow you to borrow money if there are graves on the land. So we need to look at the family plots. Don't put them in the middle of the land. Put them at the corner where you can always retain that as a family plot. I know Mr. Brown bought his land, so he raised the berry on the front at the best part. But Mr. Brown, these are things that you probably need to discuss with the children. To say, hey, you can bury me to the side there at the family plot. Start a family plot to the side so that if you want to mortgage the property or you want to sell. But a lot of us saying the property must never ever be sold. And those are things that we need to revisit. Because what was ideal for you today might not be ideal for the children tomorrow. So let's not tie their hands. Let us give them some leverage, some freedom to be able to improve their lot. And something I've spoken about over the years is that we need to make sure the children are doing well in school, because it don't make sense to work so hard and buy these properties and invest in them, and we leave them with children who cannot think, who are easily swayed, who somebody can trick out of them. So while we're doing the assets, we have to spend some time making sure that the children are doing well and that they do well in the exams and can go, because the reality is, we talk all the time to say that whatever school they pass for, let them go where they are planted. But many of us who say that are going to send our children to some of these schools, Because when you look at something and you see that a school has 1%, when they look at the CXC assessment that they are using to rank the schools, and a school has a 1 percentile and a school has 100%, who's going to want to send their children to a 1% when you're working so hard to build a future for them? But, children can go to any school and do well, but it's easier for some of them. Some children can go to some school and really don't do anything but go to school and come out with 8 subjects. Some children can go every day and do every homework and don't come out with 1. Because a lot of times it's the culture of the teachers, and we might don't want to call it, but sometimes the culture of the teachers. I'm told that there's a particular school that the principal found out that the teacher goes to class in the days and just antagonize the children because that teacher wants to go out on the road. So just antagonize the children, and then when they're not behaving, the teacher just walk out. Some schools, there's no accountability. Everybody has the same curriculum. Everybody gets the same stuff. But the reality is that some schools, and it is so sad because some schools are already strong and they are getting children who are in the 100 percentile. Their children are getting a 100 average in PEP. So they already get them at 100%. While the schools that are struggling are getting children who are getting 20% in PEP. So it's a problem. So I'm saying to children, to parents, to start investing in the children from basic school. Let them learn to spell, let them learn to read. And this tablet culture and phone culture where phone raising children is something that if we are going to let the children be able to manage the assets, the phone and computer can't be raising our children. You want the child to keep quiet, you give them a tablet. And the child is on a tablet every day, and you say to the child, say 3 times, and the child who is moving into high school can't say 6 times, can't say 9 times. How many of us parents? If you can't read them, we'll get the exercise book and say to the child, say you 9 times. I mean, a child can't go into high school and do 9 times, 12 times, 8 times, 7 times. That's a joke. And they tell you they want to pass for some of the best schools. So it's a lot that we have been talking to us over the years. So we're not consigning ourselves to land. And that's something that we're going to be pushing a little more, the whole social aspect of the land ownership, God willing, in the new year. But in this our 11th year, I really want to say thanks again to Dervan, to Adrian, to the many persons out there who continue to support Land Solutions, the GPs in the communities who will call and ask for some advice. Even the many attorneys who will send clients to us because that's a challenge and they need their clients to be properly advised. To the many persons out there in the diaspora, especially those in England, so many persons in England will tell me that I listen to your program. And to the many Jamaicans out there, rural Jamaica, urban Jamaica, persons all over who continue to support Land Solutions, who recognize the value of the program to the Jamaican landscape. And I want to say thanks again and look forward to, God willing, another 11 years serving you. I want to say thanks again to Dervan and thanks to our listeners and to say have a good day.
Protecting Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. What's on your mind this afternoon? We'd love to hear from you. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Trust you had a restful weekend and that all is well with you and yours. What have you been following in the news? What are you concerned about? What are your suggestions, your thoughts, your ideas, your criticisms, your issues? This is the time, this is the place. Here are the numbers. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, as we said, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon.
Well, evening, I missed up when you called me back. The phone was in my hand, but I was feeling so sick I didn't realize it wrong.
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, you just asked what's on my mind and what the comments, what
Yes.
what is personal were.
Yes.
First, I'm ask you, ¿cómo te sientes?
¿Cómo?
¿Cómo te sientes?
I'm blank for a moment there.
I'm just
How
are you feeling?
Right. You got me there for a moment because I'm not accustomed to when you learn the languages and you learn the standard.
Yeah. But that's the colloquial
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, I'm going to talk to you for a while, but I'm going to ask you 2 things. I'm going to pose 2 questions to you. And if you don't tell me the answer, During our conversation, I'll tell you at the end of our conversation.
All right.
What's the least known thing in this immense universe?
The least known thing in this immense universe.
And the least pursued goal.
And the least pursued goal.
All right.
All
right. What's on my mind really, see, is the hypocrisy of the world.
Mm-hmm. In what regard? In terms of, well...
What policy?
All right. Mm-hmm.
You know, the people in Afghanistan, they're suffering right now.
Yes.
As a result of the recent earthquake and the policy of the Taliban. But people are making it worse. The U.S., for example, they're holding on to the money from the Afghanistan government. And the people need it to upgrade their situation.
Yes.
In one instance, they took some money from the Afghans and gave them half and shared the rest with the victims of the 9/11 when Afghan had nothing to do with the 9/11. All the evidence pointed to Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia is so powerful, nobody can touch him.
Or so it seems.
And I think not so it seems, it is that way.
I thought it was Israel that had the greatest firepower.
But Israel is a different case. Israel is the other. You know, I've learned over the years that there's only one absolute in life until Israel came along. The only absolute I knew was a vacuum. But Israel is an absolute now.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody can condemn Israel or criticize what Israel do to them people. In that, everybody Israel kills, it deserves it.
Or such is the nature of the narrative.
Yeah, nobody questioned them the other day. Mm-hmm. In the recent Syria, they killed 45 people. That's what the number says. And they claim that the people fire rockets, and they didn't have a broken finger on the other side. And you call it a fight? Where's the world conscience?
Well, we've been hearing that question quite a bit within recent years. It's almost as if the world is having a difficulty identifying and getting the support for leaders who are prepared to make a change and make a difference, as opposed to perhaps making a money.
Recently, there are 2 congressional elections in the U.S. And you know, I think the name, the abbreviation is AXPA, that's an Israeli lobby group in the U.S. And they spent more money to defeat one of the candidates, and they could not defeat the other candidate because she was a Palestinian but of American birth. And when you follow that case, one was in Texas, and I forget where the other place was. The other one, they defeated one. And you know why? They spent more money than the candidates could in lobbying to defeat them, because you know why? They criticized Israel policy.
Yeah, and so it's a matter of how much money I have and how I'm able to use those funds to swing an election one way or another, which it's a practice that has been with us for a very long time. The business of the lobbyists. I mean, that's a profession. A lobby is the position of a lobbyist.
I'm saying that, but what I'm saying is making U.S. weaker in the international community.
Mm-hmm. How so? By virtue of the ultimate decisions that come out of that?
Yes, but I'll tell you why now.
But hold on, stick up in there, and you clearly we're not able to sort of fashion the kind of outcomes that we want, because at the same time we're supposed to be operating in democratic societies.
Exactly. Because look now, remember the other day the Russian opposition that was poisoned? and
Yes.
the Russian is in prison.
Mm-hmm.
When US back certain atrocities, could he condemn that?
You're saying America backed. I think wasn't America critical
No,
of
sir.
the alleged poisoning and
Yes,
imprisonment.
they were. But the other day, when Israel shot that Al Jazeera journalist,
Uh-huh.
and all the findings, even the first Senate result, showed that the bullet came from an Israel soldier. And with all the science that America possesses in the first Senate department, they said it was inconclusive.
Yeah, this would be a case for a deeper investigation at a higher level within the global hierarchy of decision makers.
But
But
nobody dares to challenge that.
because part of it again, it comes back to money. I mean, who's funding the United Nations and the
Exactly.
other similar organizations?
Because if the United Nations rules on certain real issue in a fair way, years ago the US withdrew its funding, owns it as an asset. So that can't be democracy.
Yeah, I mean, how do you get out of that situation? It still takes cash to care, whether we like it or not.
I understand.
Mm.
So when I tell the gangster, what message that send to the gangster?
Yeah, no, you're perfectly correct. There is if that is how those who hold the highest offices in the world operate, then clearly you would say they're not much different from the gangsters themselves. In fact, there's a song, "The Big Ones Get Away," which we did over the years a lot on this program.
Yeah, I know that song.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I'm saying with the world. There's a trend where the world is in cliques.
Yeah.
And so is the gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
So who is imitating who?
Who is implicating?
Who is imitating who?
Oh, imitating.
Yes.
That's a most poignant question.
Because the proverbial question was, does art imitate life or life imitate art?
And that debate continues.
Yes. Rightfully so.
Indeed.
So I find the world in a state where it's going to depend on the groundswell of people.
And if the people are not sufficiently seized of the intricacies of the certain relationships and decisions and a level of awareness and interest, because it's one thing for us to hold these discussions. It's another thing for people who couldn't care less. They're just trying to eke out an existence or otherwise trying to survive, and therefore they have no time to be too concerned about what the UN is doing or what Israel is doing or what America isn't doing.
Well, you see, even from a young man,
Yes.
I always see the UN as one of the biggest hypocrites in our world organization. I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there are 5 permanent members. And Africa, as a continent, is bigger than a couple of the permanent members. And Africa has got a seat.
I've heard you raise that issue before. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So really, whose interest the US is operating in?
It's supposed to be a people-centric organization acting in the best interest of mankind.
And a lot of times, the UN decision has been trumped by some of the permanent members.
Yes, because such is it. Some people would say it's complicated, because yeah, in Jamaican parlance, you could say the thing not up. That's another part of it. But what we have to do, in as much as we're able to unravel a lot of what is unfolding around us, that we play our part as best as we can to enlighten and sorry.
In a little way, we have to be good to each other.
That's absolutely, because by his deeds shall a man be known. And if we're hoping, if we're hoping to have that kind of harmony, which is necessary for change, then we have to. It has to start with us.
Because in some regions of the world, you see the government is like that knob on the pressure cooker. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
The moment you lift it, the steam just blows away.
Yes.
Because in the Middle East, especially, recently, Trump did some armed twisting to get some people to be friends of Israel. But on the ground, the people don't agree with the policy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying. And the other day, I learned Israel has a body at the African Union, How come?
Maybe some kind of negotiated arrangement, because there is that too, some quid pro quos, and some people call it diplomacy. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Thanks for holding. And yes, and so the question is, how does this country of ours, Jamaica, position itself in such a way that telegraphs to the world that we are thinking, planning, making decisions of a higher quality and a higher level?
Actually, we have a chance to set precedent in our little Jamaica, because we've done in other areas.
True. Human rights, for example, was a huge share.
And not only that, the freedom of the press.
Mm-hmm. True.
I hope it, and we've been so first come to freedom. Nobody can take that from us.
Yeah.
That's the only thing Jamaica people will be riled up about. They try to quiet us, even if we want to say something stupid.
Yeah.
Because that's what democracy is about, I don't
Yes.
say, even if you don't agree.
Yeah, and you're taking me to one of my favorite quotations about the press. Who was it now? Who said? Oh goodness! But it essentially. All right, let me see if I can bring it up quickly. Always like to make these connections. Quotation. Let's see. Right, it was Murray I. Gurfin, Murray, the letter I, Gurfin, Gurfein. He said, "A cantankerous press, an obstinate press, a ubiquitous press must be suffered by those in authority in order to preserve the right of the people to know."
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But in Jamaica, that's dying, the press.
Really?
In recent times, I've never seen a government so advertised as the current one.
So advertised?
Yes, sir.
But they'll perhaps tell you that's because they've been busy working. So the cameras are on them.
Sir, if they're They be speaking to our eyes and not our ears. We see.
Mhm. And they could shoot back and say, well, clearly you are blinded by your own interests.
Well, they couldn't say that.
Mm.
Because you know why?
Why?
They could say that because they could obfuscate.
Mhm.
But look, the nerves of the eyes are the strongest.
The what on the eyes? The
nerves of the eyes.
Oh,
is
okay.
strongest nerves, Jerry.
Mhm. Yes.
No one can deny what they saw. You can know what you hear.
Mhm. But people have vision issues too, don't they?
I know, but not in that sense.
Oh, okay.
Not in the sense I'm talking like you're going for a driver's test, you're going to take that 23 or a pilot. Not in that sense.
Mhm.
Because the work of the government should be obvious that it's obvious.
So you don't need to. It's like I've always said, and I remember saying it in the last, before the last election, that if you have been hopefully serving, I'm using the word serving cautiously,
Yes.
if you have been serving your constituency and serving them well, you perhaps don't need to campaign at all. Just keep working.
All right. Well, it begs the question now. Where should your allegiance be, or where is your allegiance? Which is a party of the people.
Well, it has to be ultimately, and this is the reason why we've started out on this 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 path of reciting the national pledge and playing the national
Yes.
pledge song, because it is, if we are to go anywhere, we have to put this country and her people at the center. And for every time we fail to do that, we take about 10 steps backward.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. The question is now, how do we move from here? How we establish some trust? Or was there any trust at all? Ever?
Yeah, it's a big problem. In fact, over my desk at home, there's a cutout of a survey that was done on the trust levels in Jamaica, which serves as a reminder to me personally. Now, how do we change that? I would humbly submit that more men and women of integrity in this country need to step forward and let their voices be heard.
But as it is right now,
Mm-hmm.
there's a level of fear.
Fear of what or who?
When I say fear now,
Mm-hmm.
this fear is not only the fear of violence, but the fear of being demoted, or let's say not promoted, because you're tending to rock the boat, so to speak, to change the status quo.
And that should never ever be the case. In fact, those who are serious about leadership should rejoice when people rock the boat or seek to probe and press and as Maury Gerfin says, to be obstinate and cantankerous and ubiquitous, as in being everywhere. In other words, everywhere our leaders turn, Maka must juke them.
All right, look.
Yes.
I hope you read that article, that beautiful article Gordon Robinson wrote in yesterday's dinner.
Please forgive me. I've been traveling, so I might have missed that. But I could always go back to it.
Yes, I want to catch up with it.
Yes.
And the theme of it, why would President want to have a change when they're having such a luxury?
That is profound, quite frankly.
That cuts to the core
Yeah.
of what's happening in Jamaica. The youth,
Yeah.
they're having it.
And therefore, it calls for an honest, genuine demonstration on the part of the leaders of this country that no, they shouldn't even have to tell us. As you said earlier on, they must be able to see it.
All right? And we come right back to the journalism we talking about being obstinate
Yes.
and more or less provocative in our right sense. Look,
Yes.
when the Prime Minister made those promises, nobody questioned him on the premise to make those promises.
Which promise?
Like going to bed and closing your doors. Not
You
closing
know,
it.
I
Other promises,
no. I would, let's just say, I wouldn't take that from anybody, quite frankly. Meaning,
you're saying, Dervan, but at the same time, being so vocal and in our face, it should be taken. And what promises?
but were people genuinely expecting that? I mean, it would be a classic case of what never happened in a year happened in a day.
It's not a matter of expectation. It's to rubbish the foolishness. Because if it was on any premise, no data, no nothing, it should not be said.
Then how it is that so many people I've heard calling talk shows and writing in the papers, etc., and essentially saying that the government has failed because they said we could sleep with our doors open. If it is, we know we have a trust deficit in this country that has been going on. Would anybody in there, well, let me not go there, but why would any thinking Jamaican expect that?
You know, sometimes we can be overruled by our desires.
True.
Sometimes we short-sighted, you know.
Yes.
We want the desires met because it's necessary so bad. And if you keep repeating anything, people will believe.
True.
All right? I give a perfect example of hypocrisy or the lack of abstinence as you spoke of with the press.
Yes.
This government, when it came to power, no previous administration had ever come to power with the level of resource and guidance that this one had in terms of the IMF mandate and the program that which he came into power with to build on.
Mm-hmm.
And the 5 in 4 was promised. And at the end of it, it was materialized and we heard it was an aspiration. And to me, an aspiration is like a twin between a wish and a desire. So how you manage an aspiration?
Yeah, well, there's this idea of being able to dream and not daydream.
Yeah, but
But
that was the word I meant. A dream, between a wish and a dream. A twin.
Yes.
Yes. And then we should be questioned on that. And when you come along and make another announcement that you know is necessary, but due to the policy is not feasible, you should be reminded of the one you made and not fulfilled.
Yeah, well, look, we live in an age, and we've been here for a little while, where people have been forced to eat their words or eat crow, as they say, or to go back on their word, etc., etc., etc. And that has been lubricated by the preponderance of technologies that can record, and play back whatever you said, whether nonsense or illuminescence.
All right? The word you use lubricating, I'd say it has a negative connotation in that it's being lubricated by the ignorance that is a prevalence now, in that they are started on the education system. Because, you know, people are educated to a level. They can't reason, they can't wait out.
Yes, there's a saying that says, a man can only understand according to his level of understanding.
And look, understanding in everything is the essential nearness.
It is. Because if we didn't understand certain actions and choices and decisions, then perhaps we would just keep failing.
Yes, because look, in every relationship, understanding is the key.
Yes.
Every relationship without an exception.
Yeah. And that feeds communication as well.
Yes.
Which is essential.
Understand?
Yeah.
Because one is joint. It's not an either or.
Yes.
But I beg for the day, I'm hope for the day when the masses reach our realization. Because we won't have any change until it's a groundswell, you know.
That's right. The groundswell is necessary.
Because the leadership we're having is not exemplifying.
Well, I always say there is only one way to lead, and that is by example.
Yes, and you have to follow the example. So the best leader follows.
Yeah, follow the leader.
All right, we're back to the things I asked you now.
Uh-huh.
What's the least known thing in the men's universe? Not the world, the universe.
The least known thing in the universe?
Yes.
I have no idea.
The least known thing is a man/woman's heart.
A man.
You know how I read that? I found that out.
Oh.
I was reading some writings from Du Bois. And when I came upon it, I had to put on the book and look through it. I have to say, in pondering that, I couldn't find it on my own. Just because it was so immense. That man is brilliant.
Indeed. Indeed.
That's really the least known thing. You don't know anything less. And he said the least pursued goal is to live a human life. Because if we were pursuing a human life, how could there be so much war?
Yeah.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the reasoning. All the best.
Okay.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Welcome once again to Milestones in Nationhood, a look at 60 significant milestones in Jamaica's history and development as Jamaica celebrates 60 years of independence. On now to Chapter 11 of Part 2, the Independence March, the formation of Jamaica's central bank, the Bank of Jamaica.
Got it?
The Bank of Jamaica was established by the Bank of Jamaica Law of 1960 and began operations in May 1961, terminating the currency board system, which had been in existence from 1939. The establishment of the central bank was in recognition of the need for an appropriately regulated financial structure to encourage the development process, particularly as Jamaica was about to embark on the road to political independence. The main objectives of the central bank were defined by the Bank of Jamaica Act to be to issue and redeem notes and coins, to keep and administer the reserves of Jamaica, to influence the volume and conditions of supply of credit so as to promote the fullest expansion in production, trade, and employment, consistent with the maintenance of monetary stability in Jamaica and the external value of the currency. Another objective of the bank was to foster the development of money and capital markets in Jamaica and to act as banker to the government. The story of the formation of the Bank of Jamaica cannot be fully told without including the story of Noel Newton Neversole. Affectionately called Crab, Noel Neversole, whose statue stands tall in front of the Bank of Jamaica building, was Minister of Finance from 1955 to 1959. A Rhodes Scholar and Solicitor of the Supreme Court of Jamaica, Mr. Neversole was good-natured and tenacious of character, dispersing his energies amongst many avocations. And currency and exchange control. He's credited with having a clear-sighted understanding of the real necessities of national independence. Mr. Nethersole foresaw the need for the establishment of a stock exchange, a development bank, and a central bank as tools necessary for the execution of a sound monetary policy. By the time of his death, at the age of 57 in 1959, plans he created for the establishment of the central bank were well underway. His foresight and contributions to the creation of the bank were lauded by both sides of the political aisle in the passing of the Bank of Jamaica Act in 1960. The current location of the central bank is called Nethersole Place in his honor. The central bank is led by a governor, with the first governor being Mr. Stanley Walden Payton, who led the bank from
How
June
much more time left
1960
on
to
it?
December 1964. Since that time, the bank has had 11 more governors, including
Okay.
Richard Hall, Horace Barber, Hedley Brown, and Derek Latimer. G. Arthur Brown, the first Jamaican-born governor, has the distinction as the only governor to serve 2 tenures as the bank's head. The current governor of the Bank of Jamaica is Mr. Richard Biles. That's it for today's edition of Milestones in Nationhood. Information for today's feature was supplied by the Bank of Jamaica. I'm Jesse Blake.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:04. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:04. 现在几点了？4点04分。4 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Para 106 FM here, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. But first up, we're going to have a word with one of our clients here at Para 106 FM, who continues to do business with this media house, and we just wanted to check in with him to see how what's his outlook, and how this business of our final rites or last rites, those final moments of existence, how we've set about making sure that we lead quality lives, so that in the final analysis, when all is said and done, we would be able to acknowledge the journey and the ultimate outcome. It's a very sensitive area, and it's not the kind of area where you go out and make a big splash about it. One has to be sensitive and also thoughtful and indeed mindful in how one carries out the affairs of those who are no longer with us. Mr. Glenn Brown is the CEO of Anthony Brown Funeral Home, and he joins us now. Mr. Brown, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on both sides of the story. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Nice to be here. I must say thank you, Power 106 FM, for the opportunity to reach out to all Jamaicans at home and abroad.
Yes, indeed.
Um, could could I give you a small synopsis of
Sure,
my experience for Jamaica?
sure.
All right. As we all know, crime and violence in Jamaica is at an all-time high. I contemplated over and over what can I do to make a difference in Jamaica. I always wanted to give back to my community and country that I love dearly and has given so much to me. I truly believe by coming together, our people, we can bring about positive changes that will have an impact for generations to come. I'm trying to form a scholarship foundation for young boys and girls to assist in their educational needs. I believe that investing in our young people, I'm investing in a better future for our country. They are the ones in 10 to 20 years, hopefully, will make Jamaica a better place. I implore other small, medium, large businesses to do their part in their community. Please let us join hands in order to make a greater difference in the lives of the people of our country. As a one famous president said, not what the country can do for you, is what we can do for the country to make it better.
Mhm.
And I must conclude by saying, may God bless us all for a better Jamaica.
Very well put. Very well put. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Brown. Now, what you've made quite clear is that ideally you want to do business in a country that is a safe place, and none of us takes any pleasure or can ever take any pleasure or joy in the violent deaths that we continue to see and experience in this country. And therefore, I'm sure, Glenn Brown, that nothing would please you more than a more harmonious society with less violent deaths,
Exactly.
notwithstanding the nature of uh, your enterprise.
Correctly.
Mhm.
Yeah. As I said before, you know, I'm like this. I'm a humanitarian first of all. I love my country number one, so I
Yeah.
want to do what's right for the country. Once profit is involved, I, and this was make Jamaica a safer place, and hopefully time and we can just have the natural course of death. The way it's going. So
Yes.
that's what I
And
hope to.
and for some young people listening to us, who, in fact, I have to say, I've never heard, and that doesn't mean I've exhausted the world in seeking out sessions where career opportunities are being discussed or otherwise put forward. But I I've never heard a student, for example, saying, "I want to become um, a mortician,"
All
for
right, let me listen.
example. Hmm.
Okay, yeah, quick, yes, sir.
Sure.
What I've done in my funeral home, I have brought interns from the high school, the kids over there, and I've
Oh.
brought them to my funeral home, and they
Mhm.
get an internship, and they get a credit towards their school. So we work both ways, and as I've been doing, I have 3 interns every year that comes in and learn the business,
Mhm.
young boys, and they can decide what they want to do. They
Yes.
get work experience, and then it helps them with school credits and stuff to be a better person. So
Yes.
I've been doing that at present right now,
Hmm.
and I've also been personally getting involved in the primary schools and the high schools in Jamaica and Sudan, giving financial donations to the kids for their educational goals personally. But I
Yes.
like to have a wider scale, have a more bigger audience to help with that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm just doing my little part I can.
Absolutely. So this is a family enterprise.
Yeah, we've been around for about 75 years. I'm a third generation. It's my grandfather, my father. I'm the son, which I have three daughters too. So
Mhm.
I guess they'll follow my footsteps someday.
Well,
But we've been busy a long time.
Mhm. And
I grew up. Yeah, go ahead.
you didn't shy away from taking on this the affairs of the family, did you?
No,
You
no,
why
no, no.
why did
Because
you? Mhm,
it's just I grew up in a funeral home as a kid,
mhm,
and always been it's like instilled in me. It was like our bloodline.
mhm.
So it's just there was it. And I tell you what I found out, when I meet people, they're always in grief, distress. I'm always there to give that comforting, that medium that
Mhm.
keeps them like, at that level. And I'm always there for sure to lean on when they need me. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So I'm a good people's person.
yes,
So I'm good people, and I try to make them feel comfortable. Because the bottom line, everybody grieves differently. So
yes.
I'm just there to be that person that they can lean on to if they need me.
And it does require some skill and a great deal of empathy to be able to discuss business surrounding the loss of a loved one. Uh,
Definitely, definitely,
mhm,
definitely. You know,
yeah.
as
And
I said, hey, go ahead.
no, I was going on to ask what is, if you could give us a bit of insight into that exchange. Clearly, you you have to act in a way that does not take away from the grief that the family member or members you engage are going through. Hold it right there for me, please, and we can pick up that point after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. Gen Zers, we're back. Gen Z returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking finance, dating, dancehall. You think it? We discuss it. You don't want to miss it. So join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Power 106 FM and 6:30 p.m. on TVJ. Gen Z, a show for the youths, by the youths.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:15. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:15. 现在几点了？4点15分. Well, it was 15. It's now 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? Yes, young people, we know you're still enjoying the summer break. But you know what we always say? Even when school is out, homework is always in. Because homework is about preparation. And proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And as we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Continuing with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Para 106 FM. And we're having a conversation with I beg your pardon, with Glenn Brown, the CEO of Anthony Brown Funeral Home. It's a family enterprise, and they have been serving the population of not just here in Jamaica, as I understand it, but also in the diaspora. But I'm going to come back to that in a moment, Glenn Brown. But just to, if you could give us an insight or two as to how you're able to, you and the other members of the team at Anthony Brown Funeral Home, to provide a level of comfort and to set your client's heart at ease, without being overly taken up with the business of your business.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I have a staff. My manager is first thing, our customer service. That's the first thing I elaborate on for the employees.
Yes.
Customer service is the number one thing in this business because when clients come into you, they're at the worst end. You have to know to balance whatever they're saying and whatever they're doing with your professionality. You have to be able to, first of all, learn how to do that because that's the number one thing. Because people are coming in like, emotions are raving and high and you know what's going on, what you're feeling. So we're just there, just listen to you and, listen to everything you got to say, put our 2 cents in and, try to make you feel as comfortable as possible. Even if you're grieving, we will try to do that, So basically, that's what we do. Is just try to make the customer feel comfortable because, if they're upset and you were upset, or you got to be there for the medium that they can, talk to, and at any time they can call me or my managers at any time if they just want to talk. We're here for them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're here no matter what you want. We're here to serve you and to make sure the whole procedure goes by basically stress-free on your end, Let us do the work as the professionals.
Yes. And
so that's basically
right.
So,
and you've been serving Jamaicans and other nationalities at home and abroad, I understand, in terms of yes.
Because so a lot of Jamaicans in the United States and they'll call me and say, look, if a body in the United States, I'll get the body out of the country into Jamaica and do all the funeral service for them, So, it depends where you're on the East Coast, because basically the East Coast, not the West Coast, but, the East Coast, the major Jamaican market,
Yes.
Miami, New York, Baltimore, wherever they are, we'll assist them in getting the body into Jamaica and take care of all the preparations for them, and we'll do everything for them. So, so basically that's how we operate. And anywhere you are, basically, in the Caribbean.
How much of a change or a transformation has there been based on your experience and what you know? How much of a change has there been in terms of the different areas that need to be dealt with, that are usually dealt with for these final moments of a deceased family member? In terms of the approach that you take, has anything changed over the years, considering the lineage?
What's happening because the new generation, funerals in Jamaica has become of a show, has become as a spectacle. It's not as like it's not black and white. Yeah, it's not black and white no more. It's a festival thing. So you have to adjust certain times, but you still have the clients who are older who want that traditional, But the younger generation, they're into all the hoopla that goes along with it. My job is to provide whatever you want. Because you're my customer, I'll do whatever you want. But I said I just go along with the customers want because the truth is they come first, and whatever they want, I will do what they want within limits of my profession.
Has there ever been a moment? Sorry, you're going on to ethics. Sorry.
Also ethically, because the only thing in my funeral home, I'm very ethical.
Yes.
I will not do anything that's unethical.
Right.
The first thing in my mortuary school, when I went to mortuary school in the United States, you have to have morals and you have to be honest.
Yes.
And those things I live up to. In Jamaica, I find it's not the tradition they use a lot down there, but I'm not going to say that, but I'm not the funeral home. I understand what I do.
Yes.
What I do, I'm very ethical, so
Understood.
I don't do it by the book, Basically, so but it's a business there that somebody has to do it, but you have to do the best job you can.
What's the most eye-opening request you've received and perhaps had to turn that down or otherwise taper it over?
Well, say uh,
I'll
a lot
lost you for a moment there. Say that again.
yeah, actually, a lot of times families request to open the casket of the grave. I personally don't like that idea
Mm-hmm.
because I give you a part. I like to view for you to view in the viewing area and keep
Mm-hmm.
everything on a professional level.
Yes.
Because sometimes at the gravesite, the people get like hysterical and
Mm-hmm.
want to fall in the grave or so I prefer not to put that responsibility on my staff. So I try to discourage it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not to open the casket when we're putting it in the vault.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do that. That's just my I prefer just having the viewing when the viewing's supposed to be. But because sometimes in the vault area and all the people around, it's like confusion, and everybody wants to see what's in the casket, and it might fall over in the casket. So I prefer not to have that spectacle at that time.
Yes.
So I try to advise not to do it.
To what extent is it an all-in-one package?
Yes, no,
Yes.
what happened now in Jamaica, basically everything is a package, basically. You know what I mean? As long as I have the deceased and I'm going to the funeral, we'll have X amount of time, we'll have the deceased buried or cremated, and I give you an entire package of everything that's included, which, as you know, is like storage, embalming, hearse, casket, foil arrangement, green advertisement, buttons, hearse to and from a destination. I might have a band. It depends if you want such things. So I really cater what the customers want.
Yes.
As long as professional, I do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
And
but everything is a package mainly.
mm-hmm. Do you have a chapel or some other such?
Yes,
Okay.
we have a chapel. We have our own chapel. We
Mm-hmm.
utilize it. If you need it, it's free of cost with the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
So we have a chapel and everything. You can come in and use our chapel.
And for those who perhaps have never been at the forefront of the planning for the last rites of a family member, etc. What should they be mindful of? I mean, based on your experience, things that sometimes we do which we perhaps might not or should not do, or might want to reconsider if in organizing a similar ceremony. Anything that comes to mind?
Well, I would suggest to people that it's best to let the funeral home handle everything because this way the responsibility is on the funeral home. Because sometimes they want to go out and do things to a church or another entity, and then it complicates the matter. So let the funeral home be the professional, handle everything for you. Therefore, if anybody's just laying at the funeral home, but if you go out and get outside, sometimes they want to bring, let's say, a cat from outside, and some people sometimes want to do that. Or I'll always tell them not to. Don't go out there. Stay everything inside because then if anything happens, or you might want a band to come later and they don't come, let the funeral home handle all the arrangements. That's the best way to get over all the problems. Therefore, one entity, anything happens, it's on that entity. Not like this. Because this is a better way to just have a peaceful and well organized
send off.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes.
That's just but sometimes people want to do things but I fight them against it. So that's one entity handles everything.
Yeah.
And we will handle everything for you as long as it's to do with the funeral. We'll handle everything for
you. Yes.
And if we can't get it, we'll get to give it to you. What I'm trying to say? It's not a package. We'll go out and get it if you need it. Probably an additional cost, but we'll get it done.
And finally, for those who sadly would have lost loved ones and are making those preparations, or are a little uncertain, maybe they are checking around to see what might work best for them, etc. How can they connect? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, we have phone numbers there on our website, and the phone number is a website. There's basically commercial everywhere, but I'll give a real number: 974-2071. That's 876. And we're in St. Anne, Ocherius, and we're there 24 hours a day. Phone answers 24 hours a day, anytime they want it. Another thing I do, if a family comes into me and they ask me about the package, I'll tell them what I can do for them. I will not badmouth another funeral home. I will not talk about another company. I'll tell them what I can do for you. And if you decide not to go with me, I'll wish you all the best and farewell. I will not, there's a lot of that goes a lot in Jamaica. And I personally, because of my ethic views, I will definitely tell what I can do for you. And if you decide to go somewhere else, I will say thank you very much for, coming to my place and hear what I got to say. And I wish you all the best.
Yes.
Right.
And it locate Anthony Brown Funeral Home for us, for those who don't know where you're located.
That's 17 Milford Road, Ocherius, Jamaica. In the heart of Ocherius.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
And we've been around there. We're island-wide anyway. We go anywhere you are. It doesn't matter, We go, if you want us in Montego Bay, we'll be there. When in Kingston, we'll be there. We just make it happen.
Yes. And we did say finally, but you mentioned, some of the efforts, some of your demonstration of being a good corporate citizens in terms of helping the less fortunate, etc. No doubt that with the compassion of the family, that will continue.
Yeah, definitely. Before I go, I want to tell you a story which happened to me.
Yes.
I think about a year and a half ago, my daughters went up there and we were feeding the homeless people in Ocherius.
Oh.
And, I did that. I reached out. I just want to do something for the community. And it was such a traumatic experience, which I didn't know that it was so much homeless until I went onto the road personally and did it myself in aid of a restaurant, which I catered for them to do it for me. And I went with them. And it was such a gratifying feeling when I felt these homeless people. It was a feeling that, I felt like I was doing something for my country. And that's what I like. I like that feeling, It was pretty good.
All right. Well, we look forward to your reaching out to other vulnerable groups and giving back as a good corporate citizen. Thank you so much for sharing with us on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story, Glenn Brown.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me, and I appreciate it very much, okay?
No problem. Thank you. All the best. Glenn Brown, CEO of Anthony Brown Funeral Home. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Poro 106 FM. The time is now 4:30.
In need of a locksmith? Call Lock Safe and Vault Limited, the experts in the business, specializing in safes, vault doors, cash protector units, locks, crowd control, and locksmith services. Lock Safe and Vault Limited, 40 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8. Telephone 924-555-023 or 924-01245.
Gen Zers, we're back. Gen Z returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking finance, dating, dancehall. You think it? We discuss it. You don't want to miss it. So join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Power 106 FM and 6:30 p.m. on TVJ. Gen Z, a show for the youths, by the youths.
Hello, good afternoon.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Here's Sean, who has been waiting on the line for some time now. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon, Uncle Dervan.
Uncle Dervan.
How are you?
I am fine, thanks. And you seem to have a whole classroom of children with you.
No, I'm so sorry about that. I'm only calling to say hi this afternoon. So, how was the vacation to Florida? How was it?
I'm sorry, I wasn't on vacation. It was work.
Yes. Okay, I understand.
Oh,
I understand. Yes. Okay. I will talk to you another time. I have a lot of things to talk about on this.
all right. Sounds like the children have your attention, your full attention. You can call us back another time. Sean, all the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Good afternoon to the members of the Magotty High School family. It was a well-spent few days with these very ambitious Jamaicans, ambitious and successful Jamaicans, and we thoroughly enjoyed our time in Florida. And we want to wish all the Jamaicans in Florida and all the Magotty High School past students and well-wishers all the very best. The event was very, very successful. The launch of the Florida chapter of Magotty High School Past Students Association. Well done, Magotty High School. All the very best. And we welcome you, yes, you and your school and your school and your school, because that's what we're here for. That's in line with what we do here on your program, Both Sides of the Story of Jamaicans at home. And hello to Sharon Smith, speaking of schools and supporting these institutions. The Jose Marti Alumni Association New York chapter are still at it, doing what they do best, and we wish them all the best. Beresford says, "Hail, Brother Dervan. If no thinking Jamaican could believe what the PM said about leaving your door open, then is the Prime Minister..." No, I'm not going to read that part of your message that follows, right? Because the point is very clear and well made. But anyway, let's look at the rest of your message. Why would a smart person make a promise that is obviously impossible? Well, it's something that people do at all different levels, whether out of what at one point was referred to as youthful exuberance. It could be from a position of ignorance. It could be from a position of desperation. It could also be, as the Prime Minister has said, from a position of aspiration. Now, it's all left to those who are receiving the information to process it. And the basis on which it is processed will determine what becomes of the idea or the decision or the plan or the aspiration, and the and how people react, and the implications for whether the Prime Minister or whoever else says these things. Because quite frankly, there's a thing called judgment, and all leaders are supposed to exude a high level of judgment in terms of the decisions that are made, the statements that are made. As we have always said, and we picked up on this when former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson was addressing an event, and it was carried on the news, on primetime news. And he said something to the effect, when you occupy certain positions, you give up freedom of speech. In other words, because of the position you hold, you are not free to just run your mouth. You're not free to just say whatever you feel like saying. You have to apply a lot of thought, mindfulness, sensitivity, awareness, a sense of history where necessary, a sense of purpose, a sense of duty, etc. So it is true what they say, uneasy is the head that will, and it is what it is. Beresford. The message goes on. Has truth died on the altar of political expediency? There's everything wrong with that kind of behavior, and it cannot be excused by saying they all do it. Do we have a scheduled date to begin holding our leaders to truth, honesty, and accountability? Well, Beresford, that is always now. That's the date. The date is always now. Carlton Levy says, well, he expresses himself with respect to one of our callers earlier on. So it is, Carlton. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for listening. Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada. Good afternoon. Paulette Saunders, good afternoon to you too. Eureka says, hi, Dervan. Please tell the caller to add to the promise made by our current Prime Minister that we can sleep with our windows and doors open. Well, that was discussed already. That was mentioned already. The reduction of GCT on JPS bills by Sister P. That's how politicians are. Well, we're not really in the tit for tat, but the facts are out there. As we said earlier on in the conversation with one of our callers, we live in an age now where there's a proliferation of technologies and recording capabilities and archiving, etc. And therefore, we can hold people to account. We can play back people's own words to say to them, what did you say? Well, why didn't you do that? What has happened? Whatever happened to so and so? You hold people accountable. The technology allows us to do that even in an even more palpable way. Moralist says, good afternoon, Brother Dervan. We as a family put away our dear sister to rest over the weekend. Oh, condolences, moralist. Condolences. And on that subject, we regret to announce the passing of one of our regular listeners. So we have lost another of our regular listeners from this time from Trelawney. Miss Needham. How many of you remember Miss Needham? Miss Needham from Trelawney. She left us a few days ago in a most heart-wrenching way. She was looking after the grandchildren, or had the grandchildren with her. Yeah, they were in her care. And one of the children picked up the phone and called his mother to say, Mommy, we're calling Grandma and she's not waking up. Heart-wrenching. And that's how things unfolded for the late Needham from Trelawney. We did receive a call from her daughter a few days ago and conveyed our sincerest condolences to the family of the late Miss Needham from Trelawney. May her soul rest in peace and light perpetual shine on her face. The rest of the message here. The work of the government is obvious, but it is left to what we are looking for. That's one part of the response of Moralist. And she's asking, what is their mission? What is the new world order? What is the new world order all about? And it goes on. This one. Michael in Belplain, or from Belplain in Clarendon, says, good afternoon, teacher, to you and your listeners. Michael here from Belplain. Was in New York, now in Montreal, Canada, with my brother-in-law, Jonathan. Big up, Angela in Toronto. Keep safe, teacher. You're one in a million. God bless you. Blessings to you too, Michael. Thank you very much for your message. And Norman is joining an earlier messenger to tell us what he thinks of a particular caller. So it is. James in East London has shared with us a suite of stories, as usual, of happenings in the UK. Son held mum's head underwater because she took bath instead. Where's the rest of this story? Oh boy. Sounds rather bizarre. For those of us who, well, let me not even go there, but so the story is, son held mom's head underwater because she took a bath instead of going shopping. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 15. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5 heures moins 15. 现在几点了？5点差15分. 15 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, sharing with you a collection of the usual collection of stories from James in East London. PM only doing urgent work on second holiday as removal vans arrive at number 10. That's the British Prime Minister. A Westminster insider claims the lame duck Prime Minister Tory leader is determined to make a comeback, and he and his supporters are delusional about his prospects of winning another general election. We'll see how that goes. Thank you very much, James in East London, for sharing. Clarky Bless in Huntstown, St. Mary says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Happy Monday to you and your listeners. Mr. Malcolm, my heart goes out to the family of those 2 young men from Clarendon who went on the work and travel program, who I understand drowned over the weekend in the USA. My sincere condolences. May their souls rest in peace. Clarky Bless in Huntstown, St. Mary. That's a story we shared at the top of the program this afternoon. Really sad. Here is another. Who is this now? Congratulations. We're trying to identify. Let's see, who is this? South Manchester salutes Olympian Arthur Wint. Road in South Manchester named after Arthur Wint. Oh, Arthur Wint Drive. I thought we had one of those already. Well, it's another drive for Arthur Wint. Arthur Wint Drive. Arthur Wint was the first Jamaican to win a gold medal at the Olympics. 1948, I believe it was. And then at the Olympics in 52, they also did well along with, well, he also did well along with McKinley, Herb McKinley, and others. So thank you very much for sharing that bit, because we didn't know. We were a little out of the loop. But thank you very much for sharing. Barry, good afternoon to you. Calvin, welcome. Michael and Faye, Reverend Smith, how are you? And let's see. Right. So I think we've managed to clear some of that backlog of messages. And here's Crocs in Black River. He says, "Good day, Dervan. You left out one of the reasons that the Prime Minister may have had for making that statement. He could have been trying to deceive." Well, that's a term that has been used over the years in reference to politicians. And I've always said, Crocs in Black River, that nobody can deceive you without your permission. Of course, there are those who are vulnerable for a myriad of reasons and would get caught up in that. But it really is a function of who is receiving that which is being transmitted and how that individual relates to the information and relays the information and responds to the information. So, but of course, there is also a saying or a famous quotation: "Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we set out to deceive." So anyone who does that would do that at their own peril. We're living in an age where people want more in terms of transparency, people want more in terms of accountability, people want more in the area of integrity, etc. And we will see how things continue to unfold. Thank you very much, Crocs in Black River, for your message. Checking the text line right now, 876 365 3346. Of course, it's the same as the WhatsApp number. And a couple of messages that are not relevant to the moment. So we have moved on from those. And I think we're up to date right now as far as our messages are concerned. Good afternoon to Asha Ash in the UK, although it's nighttime where you are right now. Natalie Winter, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for tuning in as usual, and all the very best. And we should put you on notice, listeners, and I think we have been saying as much in the last few weeks, that all things being well, we're heading to Bermuda to join the Jamaicans in Bermuda in celebrating Jamaica 60. So that's coming up this weekend. If you have relatives and friends and colleagues and neighbors in Bermuda, remind them that this is a good weekend to be in Bermuda this coming weekend. All things being well, we hope to arrive in Bermuda in a few days. And play our part in adding value to the Jamaican Association Bermuda Jamaica 60 Gala. We look forward to that. In the meantime, there's another bit of information we wanted to share with you. Where is it? Where is it? Another bit of information before we have to wrap. Come on, come on. Right. On this day in 1914, the Panama Canal was inaugurated with the passage of the U.S. vessel Ancon, a cargo and passenger ship. After decades of protest and negotiations, the Panama Canal passed to Panamanian control in December 1999. It was on November 18, 1903, that the U.S. and Panama signed a treaty that granted the U.S. rights to build the Panama Canal. The Hay-Buno-Varilla Treaty was signed with Panama, granting the United States exclusive and permanent possession of the Panama Canal Zone. In exchange, Panama received $10 million and an annuity of $250,000 beginning 9 years later. The treaty was negotiated by U.S. Secretary of State John Hay and the owner of the Panama Canal Company. Almost immediately, the treaty was condemned by many Panamanians as an infringement on their country's new national sovereignty, and quite a number of Jamaicans were involved in the development of the Panama Canal. Starting this day in 1916, a hurricane swept across Jamaica before leaving the following day, August 16, 1916. The Monique Lake started rising on this day in 1933. 9 months later, on May 14, 1934, the acting governor, Sir Arthur Jeff, and other senior officials visited the Monique Lake in St. Anne to assess its potential as a tourist attraction. And that lake has apparently not stopped rising up to, several years ago, a decade or so ago. And so it was the same general thing of the motorboats to get around whenever the lake rises, etc. But a quick search of the historical records revealed that the lake appeared in May 1811 and on other occasions. Monique was first rendered Moneque, also Monesca Savannah, and it is claimed is of Arawak origin. Spanish documents have Manegua or Monig, or no, Manegua for Monig, Manegua. The name Monig is also believed to be a corruption of the Spanish Mon Agua, after an underground lake in the area that rises periodically. Northeast of the village of Monig is a low-lying area which from time to time is covered with floodwaters which form a temporary lake. It is believed that the lake originates in periods of heavy rain from underground water that backs up and rises, the normal channels being unable to take the abnormal flow. It was a popular overnight spot. Monig was a popular overnight spot to break the 3-day coach journey. Can you imagine? These days it takes us an hour and 10 minutes to get to Ocho Rios, much less Monig. And in the early years, it took 3 days by coach between the North Coast and the capital, Spanish Town. Around 1890, the Monique Hotel was built in time to provide accommodation for visitors expected for the great exhibition, which was held where Woolmer's Boys' School now stands. That was back in 1891. Visitors usually traveled by train as far as Ewerton and were met by the hotel carriage for the journey over Mount Diablo. However, with the widespread use of the motor car, Monique was no longer necessary as a stopping place, and all of the inns eventually closed. The Monique Hotel is now part of the Monique College. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 15th of August, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.